ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, the press conference, it was superb this week. Yesterday, it was superb press conference. So I don't take my time today, Aiah P Thomas. I don't take my time for listening to them carefully and also do extractions. We resonate with me, every Sierra Leonean you will know about. One of them, now the main case about Hon PARAN Tarawally in case in West, the alleged corruption case against them, and how ACC did with them. You know, you for listen to this guy. Francis, now very smart guy. You understand? Francis, now a gift to Sierra Leone. I have to admit it. He's a gift to Sierra Leone the way he does things. He's extraordinary. I want to listen without prejudice how Francis explained how they deal with PARAN, how they handle PARAN Tarawally and in West the case. But I want to let you look at very key issues that we identify. Number one, from the engagement with PARAN Tarawally and in West, PARAN Tarawally number one confirms it. Begin no hands into the employment of in West. It's saying that somebody else doing. At the same time, this same Honorable PARAN Tarawally, I have to say honorable because he's an honorable member of parliament, claims saying he don't know which is a conflict of interest. This is not the people who wouldn't make laws in Sierra Leone. Now the people who wouldn't make laws for tell we say he don't know which is a conflict of interest. He don't know anything about conflict of interest. Now that make he go ahead and conflict the employment of in West in parliament. When West not even mass in parliament. You understand, eh? That's one thing where it's so baffling for letting go admit this is not loyal. PARAN Tarawally, the clerk of parliament, the head of the administrative head of parliament. Then they say, you don't know who's not a conflict of interest. The people who they make law for it. You go believe him? Nobody will believe him. You know, say even Francis himself don't believe this guy. For saying you don't know who's not conflict of interest. That's one. Number two, PARAN Tarawally lie to ACC. You understand? Eh? He lied to ACC. How he lied to ACC? He lied to ACC say in West now only 10 months he worked for. Where ACC call for questioning. Where ACC follow up, then find out say Honorable PARAN Tarawally in West, not the 10 months time he worked for. He worked for 19 months. You understand? So then follow up, you can ask him for making return the money. So now two areas. The only area where I feel say ACC fail for look at. Now the facts, now the allegation say Honorable PARAN Tarawally in West no even work at parliament. Parliamentarians them, parliamentary staffers them, they not be ever see and they must day. So I think say I urge Francis and the ACC as a whole for make them investigate, for find out if Honorable PARAN Tarawally in West indeed work over the 19 months we received the pay. Yes, they don't return the money. That's one. All the money during that 19-month period when 210 million leons or something like that, yes, they returned it. And they're going to be prosecuted. However, we want clarity from ACC as to whether he even must stay in the parliament for go work during that 19 months day where a man illegally employ him in the parliament. But make we listen to Francis as Francis clearly, concisely, and adequately they analyze the situation for every Sierra Leonean to understand. Thank you.
Friends, today we have a date. And they want to hear about the clerk of parliament, not so? Now, the allegations surrounding Mr. PARAN Tarawally and the WEF come to our attention on the 5th of January 2024. Immediately, we invited them to the commission, both husband and wife. We asked them, say, Pa, now true say you recruit your wife now the commission. He said, not to me recruiter. He said, but not true say he work at parliament. We say, okay, but now you're not the head of parliament, not so administratively. He said, yes. So we tell her, say, look, the preliminary evidence will get Aiah show say there is a clear situation. We know they say there is, we say there is evidence of. Now let me say something they will show say, if we look into this one here, small conflict of interest good in. Because you are clerk of parliament, you get enormous authority in parliament. No law no talk say you cannot recruit your wife. No law no talk say you cannot recruit your brother. But what in the law of Sierra Leone say, if you then in a position where you are capable of exerting influence on that process, you they express them in writing. You they write and talk to the County Anti-Corruption Commissioner at the right and say, I, Francis Ben Kaifala, Madam XYZ is my wife. And because she is my wife and she has applied for a job at ACC, I am disclosing that she's my wife and I am removing myself from the process. And as long as I have removed myself from the process, if the people who are to determine whether she is qualified and capable of working in parliament so decide, I have no business is there. Like Pontius Pilate, you wash your hands clean in public. But if you do not do that, then it is possible that there is conflict of interest. And I remember I was in the US. I personally had a telephone conversation with Mr. Paran Tarawally, who told me clearly that he understands that he did not know these things. He was not aware of these rules that I am explaining, but he can confirm that his wife did work in parliament, but he personally did not recruit her. Okay, so that is the first strand. And so I said, okay, now that you have confirmed that your wife worked in parliament, number one, bring the money. Every money that she has been paid from parliament. Let us first have it in our offices where we are now having the conversation whether or not you knew or you did not know. And that is the only way she's going home. So as a bail condition, Mr. Paran Tarawally and his wife scrambled and they came with 131 million euros. At that time, we had calculated that she worked for about 10 months. And that is what he told me. And that is what he told our investigators. But when we now investigated from the Accountant General's office, we found out that she has worked for 19 months. So we have calculated 19 months to be 151 million euros and asked them to pay. That payment is not absolving anybody of liability and responsibility. Like I have said, my own duty, the first thing as Anti-Corruption Commissioner is to protect the resources of this country. I get the money, I put it down, and we continue now the conversation as to what is going to happen to you. So if you say you did not know, you were not aware, you did not recruit, in fact, she was recruited by a gentleman called Cham, we have taken a statement from Mr. Cham yesterday. We have spoken to other finance people. We've spoken to the Accountant General's office. So we have not reached a conclusion. Nobody has said anything about the outcome of that case from the ACC perspective.
So we all know Yeri Francis in brilliant submission. See? Ain't no get no way they able. Ain't no law no the way and power for force Paran for make them put them then sack them by job. No law no day at this stage wage and power for make them suspend Paran, let them send them on leave. Ain't no get no power, no such power. But the president get power for do that. So he didn't have the president be in court. The speaker get power for do that. So he didn't have the speaker in court. So the parliamentary head, when are the speaker, the commander-in-chief, when are the president, now they're responsible now for do the right thing. Integrity counts the most. You understand? So he didn't have in court. If there is anybody who for hold responsible for what parents steal, after all this alleged corruption, after all these 210 million we don't pay to ACC for we confirm say he ain't with them involved in fraud, defrauding the state of Sierra Leone. Now the president and the speaker are for hold responsible. But I want to say this to you as Sierra Leoneans. We all know say all what they happen today, for don't ever happen because this parliament has been voted the second or third most corrupt institution in Sierra Leone. You understand? Yes, in a survey done in Sierra Leone 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the parliament was voted the third most corrupt institution in Sierra Leone, and we all know how corrupt they are. But they don't the only reason we make this the come out today, ladies and gentlemen, is because the speaker, Dr. Abbas Bundu, and the clerk of parliament, Hon PARAN Tarawally, then they at each other as they perfect. Now that make the president call them over this past weekend for to sit them all down for talk about what they go on at parliament. You understand? The president intervention for Dede. You understand? If then two man not be the effect, for don't hear everyone hear about this. PARAN Tarawally in West don't they collect salary for 18 months or 19 months at parliament. You want to tell me say speaker no know about time? Of course speaker know about time. But the reason why now speaker they stand now because he and PARAN Tarawally they see eye to eye. They get issues. So the kuku when they go to that parliament, then the president need for help for clean up. And the president need for stand up for less Sierra Leone because already Sierra Leoneans are questioning in integrity when it comes to the way he deal with an SBI Kuroma case. It comes to the way he deal with the so-called no coup security breach. There's a lot of issue of confidence, lack of confidence by citizens generally in the administrator of President Bill. So you need for stand straight and do what is right. But what we happy about ACC don't clarify their own position, and we all don't understand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Aiah P Thomas. The other area where Francis clarified, now the growing accusation, public accusation against ACC say, then they only go after the small fish. They know they go after the big fish. What does that mean? People in the claim say, they're big allegations them where they involved in corruption at Sierra Leone. Where ACC investigate them, ACC they asked to let them pay. Then they left them, let them go. Nothing really happened. So Francis explained this in a way that even a primary school student could understand. And it gives you an open platform for letting you able to do your investigation easily about all the cases, the outstanding cases, the way in a public domain. For letting you do your investigation and find out if indeed what Francis is saying is true or not. But here is what he said that is so important. He said, enough good for use good money, for spoil good money, per money way no good. There's a way that he put it. Watch the video, you understand. He said, a number of them cases the way they go to court through judiciary system. It'll take a long time, several years, for make the court conclude and make a ruling. Remember, ACC not to police, ACC not to the judiciary. ACC then they do the investigation, then they charge the case to court. Now the court now get our mandate as one of the third arms of government, the judiciary. Then get our mandate therefore make a ruling as to whether the charges are founded or unfounded. Now, and also if you remember, say the courts not to only ACC that they deal with in terms of ACC cases. ACC cases just makes up a insignificant fraction of the cases where the court they deal with. You understand? Nationally. So the need for make ruling in all those cases. So it takes time. So Francis he says, because it take time, then they consider other options where legally it then are the mandate for lady able consider the options. Option number one where they consider. Now for make sure say Sierra Leone able recoup all the money that they when they allege say the person thief. So what they do, when they don't call the person for questioning, ACC get a mandate for make sure say police then hold out accused person then lock him up in jail Not to prison, no, there's a big difference between jail and prison. Jail, now outside police, then they put you for a few days, I think 3 or 4 days maximum according to Sierra Leone laws. You understand? And you must be charged to court or released. That then called jail. Prison are like Pademba Road. You understand? All them police cells them. Na jail, na prison, na jail down. Cells are jails. Prison, now where they take you Pademba Road and a prison. Big difference. So Francis they tell us, say, well, you stand accused of this thief. Subject to the investigation, let the police then take you, let them lock you na jail. Say we will do investigation for this past the next 3 days or 4 days. But if you pay all that money back, when you stand accused of, we will release you on bail. No, we go na jail. You understand? So because of that, Francis has received tens of billions of leons from accused corrupt officials, as in the case of Paran and his wife. Paran and his wife, they paid back over 210 million leons back to Francis ACC for making his wife be released on bail, subject to investigation. And the other thing with Francis is really important, some of us know that already, is the fact that just because you have been released on bail, no means say the case don't die. Just because you have paid the money that you're accused of, don't mean say the case don't die. In fact, it means that you've implicated yourself. That's what it means. It means that there is a base, there is grounds for you to be prosecuted. And yes, they do go ahead, however long it takes. You understand? So for in case of, instead of ACC spend so many years this na court for go through the processes, then it can be said there's a bit of change of government. Then new government can, if then forget about that, they start all afresh. It better let the money come at the coffers. And when ACC they go represent Sierra Leone na court for prosecute these accused people, now money then they spend because they have lawyers them when they pay for what represent ACC and Sierra Leone in courts against those accused persons. So what if Francis is that Sierra Leone is losing a lot of money, good money, on bad ventures. So instead of all being lost, let us at least get the money back. The money goes back to the national consolidated funds so that we will do something for the country. But I encourage you to listen carefully to what Francis says, without prejudice. Whether you're in APC, SLPP, whatever you are, listen without prejudice to understand the truth of the matter.
What is the point of sending 600 cases to court and you get only 2 judgments? The entire 2023, you only get 2 judgments from the judiciary. 2. 2 judgments. Imagine me presiding over an ACC for 6 years and we continue to get judgment at the rate of 2 judgments per year. Therefore, because we know, say, the judiciary, they're self-constrained, sometimes things don't move fast, sometimes cases can be difficult, they are overburdened by cases, a lot of constraints than the way that they get. I don't send all kind of letters to the judiciary, reminding them to give judgment in our cases, to move with our cases. But sometimes, generally, they themselves are overburdened. In that case, we can look at certain cases there and say, look, let's recover. Let us cut the country's loss. Many cases, if you remember back in 2017, Sierra Leone began a fortune of a very good anti-corruption commissioner once, Abdul Jankun. He charged many cases to court. At trial, most of these cases, there were judgments. They find the people they're guilty. But what did end up happening? All the cases that they crumble on appeal. All of them were overthrown. Hafsatu Kaba, there was the Director General of National Revenue Authority. I can list all of them. They crumbled. The country lost twice. The country lost the money that was involved in those cases that those people may have embezzled. Today, nobody not get up. The country lost by sending good money after bad money by prosecuting those people. And the country lost everything. None of them were found guilty, particularly on appeal. Therefore, the judiciary don't reform over the years. They don't reform. When Justice Babatunde Edwards was Chief Justice, he was a fantastic person when it comes to anti-corruption cases. He set up the anti-corruption, the special division of the anti-corruption court. He appointed special judges to deal with our cases. He was whenever I call him for our cases, he was very willing to take action on them. And then we started getting judgments. We started getting 17 judgments, 18 judgments, 19 judgments. And we ratings went high because in 90% of their cases, then they will be the win. But nobody wins it all, will be the loss some, which is fair. Because not to persecute to the prosecute, not prosecute to the prosecute. But then, in the years leading to the election, we can find out, say, the judiciary in output with the cases were not as we want it to be. And there's a clog. 36 cases in court, 12 reserved for judgment, some don't be reserved for over 1 year for judgment. It's a problem. So in the downstream end of the anti-corruption cases production plant, if we say we continue for just send every case where they can't to the judiciary, then something is clearly wrong with us. But they argue with power for look at certain cases and say, this one, let we recover. Let we not go to court because the court, they already get too many cases before them and we are not getting the outcome we want as fast as we can. And I can tell you this, and I repeat, I don't talk from I become anti-corruption commissioner and I stand by them today. The strength of the fight against corruption does not lie in what another person can do. The strength of the fight against corruption lies in what the institution that fights corruption can do. So, if we don't charge many cases to court and then cases then they go on before the court, and there are over 36 of them, you can go and verify. Also, we get another option for recover. Or take money from them. For example, let me give you now an example. This case will start to investigate recently concerning SLRA, where about 4.3 billion was diverted by the finance officer at SLRA working in conjunction with some people in the Ministry of Finance. Now, the case don't start. All of them were arrested and taken to the commission. The first thing we did was to say, we now will take that money there. We not get problem with now. We will investigate for charge now to court. But before we get bail, the first thing we have to do is for return all that money. As I sit with you here today, those people have returned to the ACC. The money is locked right now in my office. 4.3 billion loans. It's in my office. Now, since the days of Milty Magai, to Shaka Stevens, to J.S. Momon, to Ahmed Jankaba, when somebody don't thief 1 billion loans that this country bring and come back. Oh, now when a journalist in there, anybody don't remember a case where somebody has stolen even 1 billion loans and brought it back? In this period, we don't recover over 65 billion euros cash from the corrupt and return them to the country. And that not include with you again at my office right now, when I nearly 4.3 billion euros. But yet, we are putting in all this effort, billions of euros recovered. When Salon reached that stage, there were people that they take money, they bring and come back. We were all here. It's not happening. In 2018, when I was appointed commissioner, I was shocked. The judiciary, the entire recovery for the year by the judiciary was 131 million euros in fines. But in one case, just the Hajakala case, we recovered 3.2 billion euros. One case. By the time the year ended, we recovered over 15 billion euros.
So, another year, Francis, we don't articulate and explain everything for let me understand. My question to ACC is this. You don't talk about how cases in the club, now the judiciary. How long did you talk? You talk about, just 2023, now only 2 cases where they make ruling. 2 rulings out of 36, now 2 no more. You don't talk about special court that has been created for ACC, but yet, even 2023, as early as last year, now only 2 rulings that they make out of 36 charges they want to take to court. Don't you think this is sending a message of hopelessness? For say there is no other thing that can be done to fast track. You know, I challenge ACC for make them can explain to citizens then, what else can you do to make things better, to fast track things better, faster than this? Because 2 cases out of 36 in a whole year is ridiculous. It's embarrassing for even talk about it. You understand? People in the team, billions and billions and billions. Then, you know, they either get returned back as you measure which is right. You return those monies to you. And some of them get suspended with pay, half pay. Some of them, they continue to do their job. Some of them get moved to other positions. They did dismiss and then moved to other positions. There has to be a consequence that is clear and concise for Sierra Leoneans to believe. For just explain, say, the court is clogged, so the thing will go through, the case will go through, so you're stuck there for years and years along. It's not enough. It's not good enough. So I challenge ACC for think about ways, other creative ways, for think deeper. Because I know ACC was empowered by Pakaba. Empowered. And then we also know that Anes by Makam, he empowered ACC. ACC be so powerful in Sierra Leone that no other country in Africa with the ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, being powerful, reach Sierra Leone. And then President Biodonka, you don't empower her even further. So you cannot give us an excuse for saying the cases are clogged in the court. Then when I don't recover the money, when I don't charge and play, there's nothing else to do. There has to be something that you can do that is more tangible than this. This is my challenge.